You know, something that I notice is that when you're a man and you're raised by women, you do take on some feminine traits in a way, but it's really up to you if you're going to stay with those female traits or whatever. Me personally, in the family, whenever there's a bunch of women talking and stuff, I always left the room. But I have, other cousins and stuff. They'll be in there, in the room with the females, and sometimes the females will tell them to get out, and they get an attitude and stuff like that. But you know, in this position, you don't want to have feminine traits and feminine values. And what I mean by that is like telling, telling all your business, letting people know more about yourself than what you have to, and I've been guilty of that on this channel, you know, because to be real, I never thought my channel would get big. I thought my channel would be like at 57 subscribers, maybe 100 max, and no one's going to really care. But my channel kind of blew up and kind of took off, and I got, people interested in me, people, want to know more about me and all type of things of that nature. And there's some people that are, that really support me, mess with me. And then there's everybody gets trolls and stuff like that. That's just part of making YouTube, and people that disagree with you or whatever. That's just part of YouTube and part of life. But so my mom's in the process of selling a house, and it's been extremely difficult. And I'm starting to think it's because we're black. You know what I mean? As crazy as that sounds, it seems that way because every time, like when we're here and people see us, they immediately look at us and then they immediately just kind of walk away or walk out the house and they say thank you, or sometimes they don't say nothing. Like they walk around the house, and then as soon as they see me, or they see like my mom's husband's brother, or my auntie that's here right now, whatever. When they see black people, when they see us, they automatically they automatically just like walk out and leave, and it's like damn, now people don't want to talk about race because people act like race ain't real, but we live in America. Stop it. If you're of a certain skin color configuration, you understand the situation that we're facing and what we're placed in, point blank, period. But my mom, she goes out. She goes out to like these neighbors that live next to us. They just moved. They moved in recently, about maybe like a month and a half ago, and they're an older couple. And I remember stupid Amazon, accidentally delivered one of my deliveries to their house. And I remember I had to go over there, and the guy seems all right, and the ladies kind of, you just know when somebody doesn't like black people. I just put it that way, and they're from Florida too, so I'll let the, I'll let that speak for itself. But my mom would like sometimes like she would like when the neighbor's getting out of his car, she'll wave, and I would look, and like he'll wave at me, and I'll just wave or whatever. And my mom starts saying, he's like, oh, so how's it going or something like that. She's like, yeah, this house needs to hurry up and sell, and I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't sell, and blah 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 blah. And I'm just tired. I'm sick of it. I can see the older white guy looking like, what the hell? Like, why are you complaining? Like, cause you can tell he's retired or whatever, and he's enjoying his life. But my mom is kind of just telling all her business and like, yeah, I'm the only one that's really working and blah blah blah. And I gotta clean the house. I gotta do this and blah 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 blah. And then, so that makes me look bad, And it's like you don't need to tell everybody your business. You don't gotta tell everybody that, you're in a desperate situation and you gotta hurry up and sell it, or you don't know what you want to do. They're gonna raise this up and that up. You gotta tell everybody your business. That's one thing I have to learn on this channel. You don't have to tell everybody everything, but that's what got my channel big in the first place, is me being so transparent. But apparently, in this community, that can backfire. And Lonely Black Pillar he warned me. Lonely Black Pillar warned me about trying to be so positive and all that. I remember I had a video talking about being positive, and he told me, in like one of his other videos, that hey man, that positivity crap ain't gonna work in this community. You try to make videos and tell people to go subscribe to them, and then that same person is gonna come to you and make a video about you, trying to quote unquote expose you and all that. And people look at that and say, oh, because in this community, subscribers bleed into each other. The people that watch me watch other people and all that, all that. So everybody kind of knows who they are. Like everybody kind of knows each other in this community. It's a small community, the community that we're in, and it's brutal, and like I haven't been doing YouTube for like I only had this channel for like 10 months, and I'm still new to this, so I don't really know. But when you're a male, you gotta have more masculine traits, because one masculine trait is not caring what people feel about you or say about you. You're not supposed to care about what people say about you. I know it's easier said than done, but usually females like to do that. Usually females, oh, what is she? What's that girl thinking about me? Oh, is my butt too big? Is this, that, and the third? You ain't supposed to worry about that as a man. As a man, you're supposed to worry about building yourself up and focusing on getting money. Point blank. Period. Any and everything else doesn't really matter. But when you were raised by females, you start to care about what people think and all that. It took me a while to break free from that. But in this situation, we have to be as masculine as possible. We have to be manly as possible. But the problem is, there's a lot of people in this situation who were raised by their mothers and they act like bitches. They like to stalk other males. They like to make videos on people. They like to talk crap about people. They like to, oh yeah, I'm gonna find out this about him. I'm gonna do this about him. That's a female trait. A man is going to worry about himself and worry about how to get himself elevated into a position of financial influence, and to accumulate resources for himself so he can be successful in life. A man doesn't have time to worry about another man and won't care about what another man is doing. But a lot of people, in this situation, they have feminine traits, feminine ways. They like to gossip, they like to bitch like females, they like to complain, And it's funny because a lot of these same things these guys do, that they complaining about, they do the exact same thing that females do, and it's brutal. But that's the way it is. So I'm gonna tell any of you guys that's coming up, making YouTube videos and stuff, try to keep your private life as private as possible. The reason why I didn't do that is because I didn't think nobody was watching. You know what I mean? Hey, I didn't think nobody was really watching and caring about me, at all. I didn't even know, point blank period. But little did I know, there was a lot of people watching me. Like I told you guys before, I had big YouTubers hit me up and email me and talk to me and say they watch my videos, but they can't admit it because my content is black-pilled, or it's too, inflammatory. So they can't really, show their audience because, it'll make them look bad. I'm like, how is telling the truth making somebody look bad? And on this channel, what have I said that was just so bad? I'm just telling you that looks matter. Women only care about looks, money, and power and status. And if you're a man and you don't have those things, you're pretty much screwed in this life. That's not wrong. And I expose these girls lying, saying that they're alone. When you look in their damn Instagrams or you look on their pictures or the YouTube comment section, everybody's kissing their asses. There's nothing wrong with exposing that. And that's not even exposing. That's just telling the truth. I'm not the only channel that does this. You have whole channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers that make the same video every single day and nobody complains over there because that's the content people like. That's the content people, want to watch. But anyway, as a man, you ain't supposed to just be so emotional, right? But me, I'm a poet. And yeah, I'm emotional at times, but I'm an emotional person that when I'm emotional, I don't become weak. My strength is when I smoke. Smoke my weed, play my video games, watch my anime, stuff like that. And I stay out the way. I don't bother nobody. I don't go on nobody's channel and say anything. I don't bother anybody. I mind my business. I make my little videos, and I just mind my business and stay out the way, and just focus on me. But a lot of other people, they don't do that, And in this community especially, and just young men, period, we're not taught how to be men in this world. A lot of us were raised by mothers, single mothers, and raised by females. We have a lot of female influence. So you're going to act like what you're influenced. And if you act like a bitch, that means you was raised by a bitch. It's that simple, But a lot of us, not a lot, but some of us, we were raised by, single mothers or whatever. But we still have a lot of strong masculine traits, I didn't learn my masculine traits from watching my mother. I learned from, just being around certain people that, did street activities, And now I learned that being around the wrong people can lead to you going to prison for nothing or lead to you getting in trouble for what another ninja did. So I just stick to myself now. Focus on writing my little books, making my little videos, minding my business and staying out the way. I don't bother nobody. I don't want no trouble with nobody. I just stick to myself. But then you have people who have feminine ways. They watch every video you make, but they want to complain, or they watch every video you make and they want to make videos on you, or they want to talk about you, or they want to just, troll or do something like that, but they watch every video you make. That's a fan, And I'm not talking about nobody in particular. I'm talking about trolls, So anybody think that he's talking about me, Blackpillvillain. I'm like, no, bro, I'm not talking about you, bro. And if you take it that way, then yeah, I'm talking about you. Then you know what I mean? As black, well, let me get a lot of spunk in my. I gotta thank Lonely Blackpiller. We live in a circus. Y'all know who he is. He be doing this stuff for way longer than me. Hell, he inspired me, but he's not as nice as he's not as nice as I am. You know what I mean? He speaks the real and cut you. He don't care about your feelings and none of that. He just says it how it is. That's why I like his channel, but it seems that I've been a little too nice. I always try to show love to people, and look how it backfired on me. I just try to be as transparent as I can, and look how it backfired on me. You got people that, I know this about him, I know that about him, this, that, and the third. It's just like, you know what? That was me being raised by a female. want to, tell everybody everything going on in my life, every little thing, and it worked. It built my channel up, right? But it's a double-edged sword. Me, showing my face, talking about all my personal things, what state I live in, this, that, showing football pictures, showing stuff that I really should have been showing on the internet. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm a grown-ass man. Like, who cares about a 34-year-old, in 2 weeks, grown-ass man? What are you going to do to me, you know? you know? I'm a grown man. What you gonna do when you see me in real life? All the trolls, what you gonna do? Oh my God, that's Blackpillvillain in real life. You ain't gonna even talk to me. You be too scared to say my name. You know, you know. What are you gonna do if you see me in real life? All you trolls and all these people like that. Everybody act like bitches. You're not gonna say a damn word to me because in real life I'm not as friendly as I am on the internet. And I carry something on me. So if you want to try something, you gonna get your ass popped. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're going to see if it's an air gun or not. You know what I mean? You're going to see it, But anyway, that's neither here or there. We have to, as men in this situation, we have to find our strength. And we have to find our talents and our passions. And we got to break all these feminine, influences in this world. Even this game I'm playing now, Avowed, every commander you see in the game is a female, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like every commander is a female. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. I grew up playing these RPGs type games, and let's make it realistic a little bit. It works in anime. In anime, you see like the commander or the captain of the guard or the general of the army, and it's some female with a little armor on, with a short skirt, and she's commanding all these powerful men and all that. It's just like, it's a fantasy in anime. But in games like this, it kind of takes you out. I play these games to escape reality. That's why I play these games. Point blank, period. But yeah, man, I just had a little spiel on that, man. A lot of men have feminine ways. They like to gossip and bitch and just do little things like that and just get involved in another grown man's business. Me, I stay out the way, because I got masculine traits. There's a reason why I talk about Adolf Hitler, talk about Stalin, talk about Napoleon, talk about Julius Caesar, talk about Genghis Khan, talk about Napoleon Bonaparte. These were masculine men. And yes, I know Alexander the Great kind of, let's just say, batted the ball out the park. That's a nice way of putting it, without, that's but at the end of the day, he conquered cities and stuff like that. So, take that with what you will. But a lot of us, if you find yourself having female, traits or whatever, beat that shit out of you. Act like a male, You don't want to be a male with female traits, man. That's not good. That's not a good look for a man. Being a man with female traits and acting like a female. Oh my God, I'm gonna gossip about another man. I'm gonna sit here and make, videos about another man, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna troll an incel. If you're trolling an incel, you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and question the things you're doing in your life. Because whatever you're doing in your life is not that important. If you have time to sit on the internet all day trolling another grown man, that shows how pathetic you are. And you deserve to be on the LOL Cow podcast because you are a true LOL cow. Because who's the LOL cow? The person minding his business making videos, or the person that's watching every single video and then making videos on those videos and just doing things like that, trying to troll somebody, Or people just gossiping and acting like bitches. And I'll say this, if you ever run into me in real life, keep that same energy you had on the internet. And I know a lot of these people are not. I showed my face plenty times. It's people that they done saved videos about me, put my face on other channels, and made this and that, and they got a small. These people are not even worth mentioning, because they're nothing. They're literally nothing. But it's just I'm just saying this video as a warning. 'Cause I think I seen Transient Cynic. Shout out to Transient Cynic. He made a post that talked about how he had a dream about him blowing up on this YouTube thing and people finding out who he is and all that. I was like, bro, I already been through that. People already found out, things about me. They done sent my cousin my YouTube channel. They done all that stuff, you know what I mean? But, I'm about to be 34 in a couple of weeks. I don't give a fuck. I'm a grown man. These people are just trolls online. It's internet trolling. But it's a feminine thing to do. It's a feminine thing to worry about somebody else all the damn time. We're grown men here, I think. But a lot of these guys is bitches. They need to wear panties and a skirt, point blank, period. So, yeah, man, if you find yourself having female behavior, and even being jealous is a female behavior, and even I struggle with that. seeing another guy getting the nice car, the nice girl. I struggle with that, and I have to stop that as well. I just got to focus on myself and build what I have up, and that way you don't have to be jealous or envious of anybody. But yeah, that's all I want to say, man. You guys have a good day, and the weekend's coming up. I don't know what I'm gonna post next because I've been feeling depressed and miserable, and it took a lot to even make this video. It's just such like what really inspired this video. Somebody had emailed me um, saying that because people email me all the time, that they want to start a channel, but they was asking me some tips and stuff like that. And then I seen Transient Cynic's post, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a video on this about how a lot of these guys have feminine behavior, and that's that, man. So you guys take it easy, man. And well, actually, you know what? I want to say this real quick before I end this video. I want to say this real quick. It's bad enough in this world that we have, you got to deal with isolation. You got to deal with being alone. You got to deal with not having a woman on your own. You got to deal with living with your parents. You got to deal with being broke. You got to deal with all the painful memories you went through in your life. You got to deal with all these negative things that happen in your life. And then you got to deal with some people on the internet who you thought you had a safe haven with, and they're just trying to troll or trying to talk crap or trying to do this, that, and the third. To the people that troll incels, do me and yourself a favor and jump off the nearest bridge. That's the nicest way I can put it. Commit seppuku, And to the people that be on my comment section calling me the N-word and calling me a monkey, how many people I have to ban, I think just in this last week I had to ban like 7 people for calling me a monkey, you know what I mean, and calling me an N-word, they'll try to spell the N-word N33ER with a 4. They try to do all these little weird things, I had people email me and call me an N-word, and I'm just like, why would you do that? Why would you take the time out of your day to call me an N-word or to do something like that? It just makes no sense, brother. I'm not here for all that. I'm here to just make my videos, express myself, build my little channel up, and that's it. I'm not here to beef with nobody. I'm not here to talk about nobody. I'm not here to be somebody's, plaything or whatever the hell. I don't know what it is that they know what I mean. Like, it's just crazy because even I see even big YouTubers got a lot of people that be gossiping about them and stuff. Just look at it right now. What's that one guy's name? Wes Watson. He's an ass, but he's an ass and he deserves it. But no doubt, there's a lot of grown men that's just all in his business. He's making videos about him. I mean, Wes Watson is an ass, and he did say the N-word before. I'm not defending him. You know what I mean? Not at all. Wes Watson. They talked about Mr. Beast. That's another ass. But people just make videos like a grown man. You should feel a certain way if you got to make videos about another grown man for your livelihood. That's just, to me, just feel like a BAN, a bitch ass ninja. I stick to myself. I bother nobody, and I suggest everybody else do the same. And don't fall into feminine ways and feminine traits. Peace.